This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
All right, welcome back to episode number 2 with Jay Painter. And we're going to just continue on talking about the many things that go on behind the scenes. And he's got plenty because Jay's not only a top end audio guy, front of house mixer, et cetera, et cetera. You told me a little bit about how you read in some article about lasers in showrooms, and that's
lighting dimensions.
yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? How you went out of the audio realm into now I think I want to go do lasers.
It was a transition. I had a friend named Bill Schultz who was an absolute genius, and he and I got together, and we bought I think it was a Model 75 Lexel Argon, and I built an optics table for it, and we did mostly shows for community theater, the Rainbow Company and stuff like that. Then he and I had a falling out. I wound up with the optics, and he wound up with the laser.
Neither one of them is any good without the other.
That's right. And so later on, I bought a 12-watt argon laser from Laser Ionics down in Florida. And boy, I'll never forget trying to get that thing home because the old disc bore lasers, you have to keep them flat because there's a powder that falls in between the discs. And if you move the laser this way or this way too much, that powder will get on the inside of the Brewster windows to where the beam comes out of the tube and ruins the tube. And it's like $15,000 to have that tube replaced.
Oh my!
So I got into a lot of trouble because they started to take it off the airplane like that, and I jumped off of the exit ramp and went down there and stopped it. Fortunately, they didn't kill the laser.
Wow!
But yeah, beryllium oxide fixed all that. It's a ceramic they use for the bore. It withstands extremely high temperature.
Yeah, because those are very hot. People, it's was it a water cooled one also?
Yeah, there are very few air-cooled lasers that put out, well, nowadays there are a lot of them. But back then, it was 60 pounds water pressure, 6 gallons a minute, 480 volts, three-phase at 60 amps. It was quite an undertaking to get one to work. And then you only got about 8 or 10 watts out of it, which ain't much.
No. How about the ones, we'll get off, I want to go back to this, but the ones at what was Las Vegas Hilton, the outside ones, how many watt were those? Something tells me like 60 watt or something like that. They were up there.
Yeah, they were up there. I think they were between 40 and 60 watts.
Yeah, because you could see it, laser beams all over the city.
Yeah, right.
Coming from the Las Vegas Hilton.
Right over my backyard every damn night.
Get home from the Hilton and look up and go, well, the laser's still on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it would dead end into the mountains. And a lot of people said they went up and they followed it out there, and it was like the beam had, dissipated quite a bit, but it was still like daylight in that spot that was hitting on the mountains.
Big green patch.
Yeah.
And it was real popular for people to go up there and have sex. I swear to God. You go out there and have sex in the laser light.
Okay. Okay, to each their own, whatever, y'all. That's pretty funny. Hey, I think you're pretty hot. I think you're hot too. Where should we go? Let's follow the laser.
Yeah.
See where it goes. And then what? You'll see. Oh, I don't know what that conversation would have been. Jeez. People, you're all a bunch of weirdos. Thank heavens we have you people around. You entertain us.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, let's go back to the earlier days in the lasers. The main thing on that, it's very important to emphasize, lasers in the early days did not have all the safety limitations and requirements as they do today, obviously.
Yeah, they're pretty close.
Because I remember there was some rock and roll that would hit the audience and it was like no big deal, no one cared. There's old concerts and stuff at the Aladdin. Remember the Aladdin? And it was like, well, it's not supposed to be able to do that.
Well, if the Fed would have found out about it, they would have pulled the show.
So even clear back there in the early 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
And they told me when I was getting my paperwork straight, I don't remember what hotel it was, but he says, we always get these mystery calls of somebody saying they got hit in the face at a particular laser show. And they'd try to follow it up, and they couldn't. It was just too many of them.
So then, were you still doing audio and stage work and then just doing lasers whenever there was a big laser gig? Or what was the progression from
Yeah,
doing head audio and going into more onto the lasers? Or what was your progression after you left the Union Plaza? What would you do after that?
I think I went to the Silverbird.
Ah, which had been originally the Thunderbird.
Right, then the Silverbird, then it became the El Rancho
Rancho.
eventually, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then it became a dirt lot before the Fountain Blue built on it. So
And I don't think I've ever seen the Fountain Blue.
it's just a monster.
Well, they all are over there anymore.
Yeah.
What do you want?
So so Silverbird, you went to Silverbird. The only show, and I know that this you'd remember more. The only show I remember at the Silverbird was Ippy Tombe.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember any other shows there. Because, I was
Well, we
a
were-
little young, but
We
I
were
remember
Star-
that.
We were Star Policy until Ippy Tommy came. And the reaction to the show was so great that they were actually putting people and tables on the stageettes. The room was packed every night for about 10 months. And meanwhile, they had a contract with Roger Miller. And they tried to buy Roger Miller's contract off. And he sued and won, and that's when it went back to being Star Policy.
So basically, what happened is they decided stars were costing too much because this is the flow. So everybody understands this is the flow in the Las Vegas showrooms. You have star policies, and the stars start demanding more and more and more, and they want this, they want that. And then the hotels get mad about having to pay these ridiculous salaries, and then they go to a production show.
That's right.
And the production show sits there and it runs and runs. And after a little while, everybody that's going to see the show has seen the show at least once. And it's hard to get them to come back to see a second time.
Right.
And then they go, oh,
Except for Ippy Tommy. People came back and saw that 10 or 12 times. That was
amazing,
yeah.
And then eventually they get tired of the production shows not doing what they're supposed to, and they go back to Star Policy, and the cycle just repeats and repeats and repeats. So there you go. There's your, in a nutshell, there's the Las Vegas showroom entertainment policy. So
101.
yeah, 101. Because in between those times, and the time period is 4, 5, 6 years in between Star Policy into production shows back into Star Policy. To 5, 6 years it will be a run, and that's a couple different entertainment directors will have come and gone, and hotel managers and presidents of the hotel, et cetera, and the next one comes in with a great idea. We want to go back to Star Policy, or whatever it may be. So you're getting an education here, people. See, this is not just fun; it's educational too. So. But seriously, how long did you stay there at the Silverbird
Till it closed.
till it closed?
Let me see, I won't mention his name, but the guy that was sound there got fired because he lost a radio mic, which is like a $900 item back then.
Yeah.
And I went in and talked to Victor Smith, who was at Workmeister, told me to go talk to Victor Smith. And I talked to him. He liked me, so he hired me. And I was there for about a year and a half until it finally closed. Shit. Major Riddle. He even leased the toilet paper for that place. So it was doomed to fail.
Leased the toilet paper.
Leased everything.
How do you lease toilet paper?
They made a package deal. And all of the supplies, the first year supply of food and all the kitchen stuff, and even the candles in the dining room were all leased. I don't know how they got away with it, but it spelled the doom of the Silverbird.
Well, part of that, the tax benefits on leasing versus owning are great. So I guess if you write it up a certain way, you can show it, because on a lease, you can write off that whole lease 100% that year, where if you buy something, you got to amortize.
Right.
So, so I can see why they did it. I'm just visualizing leasing toilet paper or napkins or whatever else. It's like, you can't turn it back in, you know. So, well, whatever. Yeah, Major Riddle, what did he have? He had one downtown too.
We had the Silverbird, the Silver City, and what was it? The Silverton in North Las Vegas.
Something silver, yeah. Downtown he had one strip and then somewhere else. So,
Well, he had three properties when he finally crashed. There was one in Northtown, there was the Silverbird, and there was another small one downtown somewhere, but it didn't last very long. It was just a little slot palace.
yeah. And that was, I think that was across the street from the California, across Main Street from the
Wouldn't
California.
surprise me.
Next door to the Union Plaza, you know,
Yeah.
across the street. So, yep. And only about a year and a half, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Did you know about the escape tunnel from the Union Plaza?
Escape tunnel? No, I haven't heard about this one. Oh, do tell.
You went into the fire escape and you went all the way down, and you were down like 2 levels below ground, and there was a tunnel that went across under Main Street, and there were stairs that a pair of doors could open up, and you could escape that way and get out on Fremont and Main, on I think the east side of Maine. Not many people knew that was there.
For what purpose? Nobody knew.
Nobody could tell me.
Let me see. How close to the casino was it? The cage.
The what?
The casino cage. How close to the casino cage was it?
It was all the way across the casino.
Oh, okay. So it's not a way to walk some
No,
money
the
out.
only way to get to it was to go down the fire escape in the main tower. You take it all the way to the bottom, and then you see the tunnel, and it take you across the street.
That's an interesting one.
Well, here's another tunnel for us. So you remember Siegfried and Roy, of course.
Oh yeah.
What was their handler's name? Lynette?
I only
think
worked
it
for
was-
them one night. I worked for Siegfried and Roy one
It
night.
was Lynette. They had a compound at Washington and I don't remember the street. But Lynette lived across the street. And they, without telling the city or the county, they dug a tunnel to connect Lynette's house with the main house that Siegfried lived in, or Roy lived in. And they covered it open. They never got a permit for it. I remember I lived in that neighborhood for about, I don't know, 6 months when I was separated, and you could hear those lions roaring all night long.
Yep. And then people always complaining about that and stuff like that. Well, you guys moved into their neighborhood. It's like, you know, the lions have been there, you know, tigers have been there a long time.
It's like people that buy a house next to the airport and then
Yeah.
bitch about the noise.
Yeah. It's like you moved right next door. Or people when Pepcon blew up, people complain about it ruined my house. How did this happen? Well, you moved right next to a big explosive factory. I didn't know it was there.
God, I'll never forget that day.
Boom.
We were working on the Liberace Museum when that explosion happened, and we were putting distributed sound ceiling speakers in. And the code had changed. We had to start putting earthquake clicks on the speaker cans, so if there was an explosion, they wouldn't fall out of the ceiling. And Pepcon blew up, and the goddamn things worked.
They did work, huh?
It worked.
How about that?
What do you want?
Your cat's talking to you.
I know. What do you want?
It's like, scratch me.
No, I think. Hang on.
You got to do what you got to do here. And
Come on.
I'll pause this, and then we'll continue. All right, a little pause there for a minute. Pause, P-A-U-S-E, to take care of some paws, P-A-W-S. Taking care of the black cat. What's the cat's name?
Houdini.
Houdini. Good name for a black cat. Perfecto.
And he is not a perfect black cat. They call him an angel. He's got 2 or 3 white hairs right here on his chest.
How about that? Okay. So not quite the real black cat.
Well, there are 30 species of black cats, and he's one of them.
Oh.
Some are completely black, some are mottled. I don't know. I just became a cat guy.
I've never been a cat guy. I've always been a dog guy, but cats are pretty cool. I like watching. They have a certain attitude about them.
Yeah, they don't bark and they poo in a box. What more could you want?
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so where were we? We were at talking about some of the escape things that were happening over at the Union Plaza over onto Main and Fremont. Now we can talk a little bit more about the time you were at the Silverbird. Then what'd you do after that? What any good shows? Let's talk about a couple of the shows. Anything you can remember as far as, wow, that was a really good show. Obviously, Ipitambi was a popular show, but on our side of the table where we worked the shows, was it a good show?
Actually, it was. They shouldn't have closed it, but Roger Miller went to court and sued because he had a contract and he wouldn't let them buy it out. And then after that, I don't know, they just all run together. Who was the duet? They were all over the strip for years. I can't remember their name.
Singing duel or
Yeah, singing duo.
I don't know. There's been several of them. I mean, you have Carpenters, you have
No, these were two guys,
two guys, Righteous Brothers or
Sanford and Young.
Sanford and Young.
I think that was them.
Meow. And what about them?
They borrowed an amplifier from me and blew it up and brought it back destroyed.
Did you thank them?
Very much.
Thank you guys for taking my gear and blowing it up and bringing it back.
Yeah, and it was my amplifier. But I got around it.
Your personal amplifier?
Yeah, I owned it. So at any rate, I sent it back to the factory and got it rebuilt and somehow got the hotel to pay for it. So I lucked out on that one.
So what year basically did they close the Silverbird? I remember it was close to 80,
Yeah,
somewhere around the 80 mark because I was working.
I think it was on the cusp of 1979, 1980.
Yeah, because I was working at Design Concepts and we were building Hallelujah Hollywood Hello for Reno.
Would they ever do that goddamn airplane up there?
It's still there. It's everybody has come down and worked with me. They said, "Oh, it's still there. It's tucked away in the back in the corner." They still have a 737 airplane sitting on their
Yeah,
stage.
scale model.
Yeah,
They don't know what to
still
do
there.
with it.
No, that's what do you do with
They
it?
figure it's going to cost more to, tear it down and haul it out than it's worth.
Yeah, at one time Hilton used to own that. I mean, it was an MGM property, and then Hilton bought it. And then I think they sold it to right around the 2000 mark because at that point, Hilton was required to divest out of gaming properties.
Right. Well, the Reno property was the Flamingo Hilton. And I remember that distinctly because all the windows were tinted pink.
Just like the one down in Laughlin, it was the same thing. The one on the Strip, the one in Laughlin, the one in Reno, all pink windows. All right, taking it a little too far, I guess, but anywho, then where'd you go after that? Silverbird to what?
I think I went to work for Laser Media. I did. I toured with Loverboy, Air Supply. That was the shortest tour I ever took. In the old, they call them soft seat theaters up north, the old theater chain. Well, they'd put a steel thrust out in front of the stage that was black. And they did that to hide the monitor speakers. And every time they'd get in there, the short guy, I forget his name, he'd walk off the stage, break an ankle, break a rib, something. So I think of a 6-month tour, I think we maybe did 3 dates.
Wow. They just played at the Westgate just a couple of weeks ago, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they're coming in next week, or we're right around the period they come into our place, or
Right.
my old place. So yeah, they have a nice show. You know, they've been around forever, doing all those songs.
And this stuff is still popular. Everything they did kind of hit.
Yep. Little River Band, same thing. They come in once or twice a year, and good stuff. It's all good stuff.
I'm trying to remember.
So you toured with doing lasers for Laser Media. Didn't Laser Media do the stuff at Splash? Wasn't that their programming? Was that?
Mm-mm.
Not Laser Media, the laser stuff for Splash.
I'm trying to remember. I think that was Scott Ritt.
Going back a long ways, going back like 36 plus years. Trying to remember certain things. So we got, you did some touring. What year did you start working at the Riviera? Was that your next stop when you came back to town?
It might have been.
Because I know in the early 80s they had, what was that show? Solid Gold.
That was on the other side of the building. They had 3 or 4 theaters in the Riviera. They had the main showroom, and then they had a couple of mini showrooms on the other side of the building. That's where they had the drag show, Kenny Kerr, and stuff like that. They really didn't do well on that, and that was Rickless's fault. His daughter liked this particular act, so he hired them. And then, what was it? I'm trying to figure out the Lebanese food that he served in the food court. Nobody liked it. Nobody ate it. But it kept 8 people employed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Michelin Rickless. He was married to Pia Zadora.
Yep.
And that must have been hell because she was, well, I won't say it, but she was. I remember she tried to get the porters fired one day because they were vacuuming the hall in front of her room. And she told them to get off the property, and the old man came in and moved them to another side of the building, and they still kept their jobs. But boy, she was horrible.
Yeah. Well, these are the stories, folks.
Did she not play the showroom once when...
She did. She actually opened for George Burns. I did the sound for George Burns, and she had her own guy doing the sound.
I don't remember the sound part of it, but I remember they didn't use laser, but they had to bring me in because I was part of the crew. So I sat in the laser booth for the show. Didn't do anything.
She has a very good voice. She can sing very nicely. She looks very good.
Oh yeah, she was a knockout.
But she just didn't have a show. You know, she didn't have that presence. In the industry, it's called she didn't have it.
Yeah.
Dean Martin has it. And Margaret has it.
Yeah.
It's it. And you can't describe it, but you know when they have it.
Yeah, I know.
She can sing. She can looks great with singing and stuff like this, but she had no power presence on stage that would grab the audience.
Who am I trying to think? Helen Reddy had that problem. She was a great singer, but just didn't come across.
Yeah, I never saw her show, but that's one I wish I would have gone and seen her live. No, it's all kinds of strange things. That Riviera was one of the greatest places to work, but one of the most bizarre at the same time.
Yeah.
I loved working there, but it was just like.
And they had star policy when almost every other property in town had gone to some kind of production show. The other thing I remember at the Riviera is when we had that big strike, they promised to pay everybody what it was settled on, and their showroom remained open. I think they made a killing. Barbara Hayes was running the place then, and Ed McDonald.
That was a Me Too. They did a Me Too. Whatever you guys do, we'll do too.
Yeah.
And they did it, and it went fine. Circus and the Riviera, 2 places we did, Me Too's. So everybody else.
I remember at the end of that strike, Wardrobe negotiated a new contract, and they were going to get retroactive for about 6 months. And remember Mary in the wardrobe department?
Small Mary, little.
Yeah.
Which are you talking, Mary Walker or?
Not Mary Walker.
Some other Mary.
Yeah. She got a check for $14,000. The difference in pay between what they were making before and the difference in what they were making now.
I think you're probably thinking of the Hilton back in 90. No, it'd been right around the 98 or something there, because that's the one that I had negotiated with the hotel on, and I stood, and not to blow my own horn, I stood on the hill and took the fire and said, "Wardrobe gets parity or there's no contract."
Well, there are a lot of wardrobe ladies back then who are very thankful for that.
Yeah. But, the good thing about that is we had a vice president of human resources, Kathy Rybar, who was a very nice person, very smart, very sharp, and stuff like that. But it was, as I would sit down and talk to her, say, these women work as hard as the guys do.
Harder.
They are very much, when we're able to push a piece of scenery out on stage, and then we go and stand off to the side, they're still dressing and undressing and getting people running downstairs, grab stuff. They
Running up
never
3 flights
stop.
of stairs to get to the wardrobe department. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, they never stop and stuff like that. And I was like, Kathy, it's only fair that they get on parity, and we in this age of equal pay for equal work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she went away and came back, a little while later. She goes, "You're absolutely right."
Hooray.
End of story. Done. So, yeah, I know Mary got like a huge check,
I think it was like 14 grand. It
Yeah.
was big.
a retro check for 14. She was the only one that got it because it was only for the deal was that everyone would get it, but it was only a wardrobe in the lounge because of the difference in the pay, the big difference in the pay over there. But she got it, and everyone now gets the full, just like if you're the head sound and your head wardrobe, same pay.
Your department head, yeah.
That's what it is. So,
And truth be told, the wardrobe's got a hell of a lot more responsibility than anybody else in the building.
and yeah, and having to be down there with the entertainers and babysit them, taking care of them, that is earning your pay.
Yeah.
That is earning pay. Seriously. So I left almost a year ago out of show business, and I can look back, and that was probably, of all the things I did, I think that was the biggest accomplishment that I ever,
I would say so, yeah.
I did, is I got parity for wardrobe finally after 60 years.
Since the union's inception.
Yeah, 60 years basically.
That goes back to what, 47?
46, 47, yeah. So 50 plus years. Finally got it done. Because wardrobe always got the raw end of the deal on contracts.
Well, good things come to those who wait.
Yep, but they got it. So, cool. So you're over at hold on, let me check the time real quick here, folks. Make sure I'm not running past my time limit, and I think I'm just about there, actually. So folks, we'll be right back in just a minute with another episode
Okay.
of this show. And Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.